others to government-sponsored work projects.
This was a bad times for the United States. They were in the middle of the Depression. There were lots of poor folks, lots of uneducated people that had to work and instead of getting an education. And it was a time when law officers were well, in our time they called them the fuzz, and in those days they called them the laws. Just like we've got our people who disrespect the law, there were a lot of people back in those times who did also. But they weren't like Bonnie and Clyde.
To begin with, you know, they expected something for nothing, and we can't get anywhere with that in life. You know, we've got to work for what we get or inherit what we get some way or another. And they tried to steal, and that's a principle, of course, that we try to, honesty, we try to instill in all young people, you know, pays off. And to the value of a human life is important, and to them, a life didn't mean anything. They had just seen kill as to talk to you. Honor comes first, you know. If you're hungry, most people will help you, as they did here. I was working for the public here, and there were many people that were helped, that they didn't rob banks and they didn't cheat and do things of that kind.
With the Depression in full swing and Prohibition just behind, the United States was having its worst crime wave. It was an era of notorious individual criminals in the United States: Capone, Pretty Boy Floyd, Machine Gun Kelly, John Dillinger, and Clyde and Bonnie. Clyde Champion Barrow was born March 24th, 1909 at Tellico, Texas, the son of an impoverished sharecropper trying to feed 8 children on field hand wages. He went to school off and on through 5 grades, then quit to join a gang of car thieves and small-time robbers. Bonnie Parker was born in Rowena, Texas on October 1st, 1910. She was an A student, finished high school. She met Clyde in January of 1930, and they fell in love instantly. A friend of the 2 lovers described them thusly: he was a little man. What he liked about Bonnie was that her Lilliputian dimensions made Barrow, to himself, seem big and strong. For Bonnie Parker was a mite of a thing, 4 feet 10 inches tall, 85 pounds light, and with a tattoo on the inside of her thigh, commemorating her marriage to a man serving a life sentence in prison. She had a hard, angular little face and looked older than her years. She read magazines of romantic confessions, painted her toenails pink, and upset color-conscious people by trying to match her dyed red hair with red hats, dresses, and shoes. It was said she had a loud mouth, unquote. A month after meeting Bonnie, Clyde was jailed for one of his numerous petty crimes. And 1 month after that, Bonnie smuggled a pistol into his cell so that he was able to break out of jail. He was captured a few days later and sent to the Texas State Penitentiary in Huntsville. Clyde stayed in prison for nearly 2 years. The hard labor of the field gang that left the walls daily to toil in the river bottoms didn't sit well with the frustrated Clyde. In a moment of despondency, he asked another convict to chop off 2 of his toes with an axe so that he would be taken within the walls and released from drudgery in the fields. Then, irony of ironies, this revolting incident had just occurred when Clyde's pardon was obtained February 2nd, 1932. He returned to Bonnie on crutches. This date is significant, for now the violent deeds of Clyde Barrow and Bonnie Parker escalated at a furious pace, from robbing grocery stores, filling stations, and the small banks to wanton and sadistic murder. Clyde's first nationally publicized crime was committed without Bonnie. Bonnie was in jail in Kaufman, Texas, having been caught in a robbery, while Clyde had managed to get away. However, there was a female with Clyde that spring evening.
Now this'll be easy money. You stay in the car and cover me.
Hey, open up, old man.
The caller persuaded the elderly grocer to come downstairs and open his front door.
Give us some gas.
And your money.
Mrs. Boucher fainted at the death of her husband, and when she revived, the widow identified Clyde Barrow's picture.